You have made an entire career making fun of high net worth people.
When you're bullying up, people who are being bullied feel celebrated. So when I make fun of billionaires for being billionaires, they're like, they love it. I realize if I say absurd things in this eloquent British accent, people will resonate. The more you spend, the more you make. And people were like, yes. Gstaad is a small town in the mountains of Switzerland. It became sort of a hideaway for the world's elite.
There's like a barrier to entry for peasants.
Peasants is a strong word.
Well, that's how they certainly looked at me and Mike. What did the frown originate from?
It's basically like permanent displeasure of things. Even if I'm having a great experience. Zachirific, he's one of the greats online right now.
The girls he gets. This guy's
Sweeney.
This motherfucker manifested his way into being the cool guy. When George roasted the CEO of Coinbase, George had no idea who he was.
You say you have so much money and you can't buy hair.
He did not say that.
Yes, he did.
Is that
Like how you start a fire with Flint.
I don't know what that means.
Hey, we're rolling. We're in.
Oh, we're in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, shoot.
We should not start with that.
It's too late.
great,
I don't know what to tell you.
Nothing more impulsive than that, buddy.
Yeah, it's facts. Hey, guys, welcome back to Impulsive, the #1 podcast in the world. Thanks for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing. It's 7 a.m. Gstaad Guy made us start so early because he's got things to do, apparently. But let me do an intro because I do owe you a proper intro because you're one of my best friends. That guy across from me is one of my best friends. He goes by Gstaad Guy on Instagram. He has the highest
Per capita.
His following is the highest concentration of high net worth individuals and billionaires of any social media page in the world. This guy, dude, I'm so proud of you as a friend and as a content creator. I love you. He plays Constance, who's old money, and Colton, who has new money. My guy, not in character. Welcome, the Gstaad Guy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or as we call him, Gstaadi.
Gstaadi.
As the girls call him, Gstaadi.
Oh my God.
We love him.
Dude, I am so happy to have you as a guest on the podcast, not just as a homie, but as a person who's made waves in the social media area.
Thank you. Thank you.
I realized something. I'm shorting out a little bit.
I'm smiling.
shorting
I'm
out
smiling right now, just so you guys
I can't
know.
tell. What's up with the mask?
Want to tell him?
I got influenza.
That's why we also had to do this so early, because Mikey went to Basel. He's one of the people you make fun of. He went to Basel and got influenza.
I can't wait to get into
Rookie
it.
mistake.
Yeah.
Rookie mistake.
There was a lot of influenza going around this year,
Yeah?
dude. It was a big thing, yeah. But influenza. But I had to make it out here for this episode because I also equally love you. I'm excited to get into it. I know you've been waiting a long time. Ironically, Gstaadi has been on the show briefly,
I have.
and equally ironically, in a fireplace couch setting.
Where? When?
In Gstaadi.
I was on the side.
Oh, in Gstaad.
Yeah.
So one of our famous Gstaad episodes,
Yeah.
it was the worst vacation of my life ever.
Me too. I smashed my face.
Oh,
Remember?
that's still
crazy.
secretive, kind of.
I mean, we can talk about it. I'm not going to show the video.
Why not? Why not? Would you show it?
Eventually, I think so, but it's
Would you show it
like
right
a traumatic moment.
Yeah,
you know? Like, throw it out there.
now? Can we put it out there? You don't want to.
I'd rather not.
Do we talk about it right now, about that moment? I mean, we're here.
I mean, but if we talk about it, we don't show it.
Yeah, we'll skip it.
Really? Just
But
fucking
I've
talk
been on the
about
show
it.
twice.
You absolutely smashed your face.
Okay,
at
here's what
me.
happened.
Okay.
So we were in Gstaad in Switzerland. Logan wanted to go curling. And instead of curling, he said, we're going to, Gstaad Guy, look, we're going to.
You just outed
By the way,
yourself.
both of you are two
Yeah,
strikes already.
I did it.
Okay.
Yeah, you already did it once.
We can just
too.
bleep it out every time.
Yeah.
So he said, Gstaad Guy, look, let's play Quidditch instead. And I was like, oh, that's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
So Logan sticks the curling broom between his legs and just barely squeezes it together with his knees. And no matter how strong your knees are,
The leverage isn't there.
it's not there.
No.
Okay. And it says, grab my stick. So I grabbed the stick,
My guy.
put my weight on it, slip on my face, fracture my cheek, and
Horrible.
It was violent.
In front of girls and stuff.
yeah, in front of my ex. That's why she's my ex. She saw it and
Then
she just walked out. She
Crazy.
walked
Yeah,
out.
we felt so bad for you. Because, like, bro, you're such a good kid. Like, you come from
Thank you, dude.
a nice family in London. You got that accent. What is that? What is it called? The
International
School.
school accent.
international school accent. Like, I don't think people who follow you really know who you are. So it's nice to kind of peel back the veil and just have you as you. When people meet you in real life, do they know you're 6'7"?
The short answer, no.
No.
The first thing they say is, whoa, I didn't know you were so tall.
So tall.
And also they say, I didn't know you can smile, because I'm always frowning in my videos.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty smiley in real life.
What did the frown originate from? Like, why is the frown signify like rich people? Like,
so the frown started when I was filming my first ever video. And it's basically like permanent displeasure of things. It's like disapproval.
Yeah,
like nothing is enough. I always want better. Even if I'm having a great experience, you'll barely see a grin through the frown. It's like, you know, you're like kind of smiling, but you're still frowning. It's like, even if it's great, it's not good enough. And that's the world of high net worth people.
it's so funny because you have made an entire career off of making fun of high net worth people. And your audience is so niche. At least it started niche. And, you know, I've been doing this content thing forever. And a lot of people have come in and out of the camp. And you've been my friend since you were 17 and I was 19. Yeah. We met at the MTV Movie Awards.
Predates me.
Yeah, like one of my oldest friends, the only older friend is Evan, who's up there.
Who's asleep in the upstairs.
And bro, when we met, immediately just hit it off. And you said something to me and you're like, it was this time next year. And it was like a little motivating thing for you and I to go do our things and then come back and go this time next year. And I always thought you were so like charismatic. There was something about you that was natural on camera as well. You weren't afraid of the camera.
Thank you.
And then you started this character. By the way, I interpret it as Gstaad Guy.
Gstaad.
What the fuck is Gstaad? and how did you start growing this page, making fun of rich people?
So, first of all, thank you for your praise. It means a lot. I started Gstaad Guy nearly 6 years ago now. So 4 years after we met. And honestly, watching you grow and watching you be comfortable in front of the camera was a big part of my comfort with the camera eventually. So Gstaad Guy or Gstaad as Mike calls it. Gstaad is a small town in the mountains of Switzerland. I had never been there growing up. I went there for the first time a year after making the page. And it's secluded. It's about 2 to 3 hours away from the nearest major airport in Geneva. And it was one of the first towns in Switzerland to have luxury hotels like 100 years ago. And there was also a boarding school called Le Rosé, which you may have heard of. It's a fantastic boarding school and happens to be very expensive, that has a winter campus in Gstaad. So luxury hotels, crazy boarding school started to bring a lot of high-spending residents who'd visit their kids and stick around. But because it's this very old-school ski town, you also have a lot of building laws. So people couldn't build these crazy homes from the outside. They would start building homes for themselves that looked very modest on the outside, but had crazy, like 5-level basements and these crazy homes. And it became sort of a hideaway for the world's elite and wealthy who wanted to be away from major cities, be away from other people, and just do their own thing, hidden away in the mountains of Switzerland. And it's pretty inconvenient to get to. So you don't get much foot traffic. People just mind their own business. It's extremely expensive. And it's really absurd more than anything. It's
absurd.
It's absurd.
The GDP of just Gstaad is like, well, what? Like a percentage of like the world's entire countries.
Yeah.
The amount of high net worth individuals there in that little ski town is insane.
Yeah. It's probably the most in the world for sure.
We went there just to try it out for New Year's.
Yeah.
And we've by now have gotten the luxury and the opportunity, the blessing to go everywhere. And I want to talk about it later in the episode. Who has the flu? Is it me or you?
Bro,
because that's the 15th time.
I was drinking last night with Evan. I was drinking last night with Evan. We were drinking whiskey.
What's good, bro?
Smoking a little bit.
You should put his mask on.
Just hanging out.
That was the only time out of all of the times through Saudi, through all these different places, I've ever felt like I was actually with the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Like for real, bro. When I was in the basement of whoever that Russian oligarch's house that paid Guetta like $2 million to do a 30-minute set, and Madonna was there, like, if there is a home for the Illuminati, it is in Gstaad.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I'm as shocked as you are, and hence this entire thing. Like, it's a really crazy place. It's absurd in every shape and form, and it's actually a contradiction in every shape and form. It's like Swiss farmland, nature, billionaire hideaway. Farmers wearing like traditional Swiss clothes, furs, and crazy outfits. Understatement with overstatement. It's like the extremes on each side, and it just makes it so absurd as a place.
But is it rooted in the end? Is it rooted in Swiss tax law at the end of the day as to why it attract? I mean, like that's a pretty well known thing, right? Like as to why it's so attractive to European, Asian money.
I think it's a small part of it. But
Part of it?
Yeah, because there's a lot of places people can tax optimize.
Luxembourg.
Right? There's like a lot of tax-free places in the world.
But Switzerland generally is considered
pretty good.
to be like one of the...
It's pretty good. But people who...
I got to get one good one out.
You're fine.
It's
You're
stuck
good.
in my throat.
Wait, would you want to try one of these hydration beverages from Prime?
I'm already drinking one.
Well, that's the energy version.
I'm ruining the
18
episode.
plus.
The
No, you're
18
good.
plus.
You're good. Don't worry. Bless
Sorry.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
God bless you, too. You're going to need
Bless
it.
you, dude. Yeah, it's people who have homes there usually have like 6 other homes.
Right.
So they have a home in Gstaad,
So actually-
a boat, a place in Monaco, a place in London, and they just jump between cities. And there's a private airport there. They fly out of the private airport. If you're flying commercial into Gstaad, like me, like us, it's actually super inconvenient to get there.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God, it's
you land,
horrible.
2.5-hour train, you drive.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
So-
So if people are
Everybody laughs at you when you get there.
Exactly. There's like a barrier to entry for peasants.
absolutely, I mean, peasants is a strong word.
Well, that's how they certainly looked at me and Mike. When we went...
No, they loved you,
No,
guys.
no, no,
Come
no,
on.
no, no.
They
No,
loved
Oh, so much.
Me, Mike, and George, when we went, like, by the way, self-made, successful in America, like, I think we command a little bit of respect.
I think that people showed you respect.
No, they did. No, they did. No, they did.
We were the jesters.
We were the
at
jesters. They
best.
found us funny.
They
There was this
make a joke,
dance monkey
influencers.
dance. Yeah, for sure. It definitely existed. It wasn't disrespectful, but it certainly was. They were entertained by the oddity of what and how we were and
It was
how we
super humbling,
dressed
super humbling.
and all of that.
Yeah.
And I
To
think,
be fair to them, I think you guys both played into that.
yeah,
you
we,
loved it.
of course. Like we
I've
don't.
seen you guys be in environments where you're poised and collected, and you also play that hat.
Well, I'll double down on it. So if I know that someone is either interested in it or like slightly embarrassed by it, I'll be like, hey, do you want to go shopping down at Lauren's Piano?
Loro Piana.
Oh, Lauren's Piano? Like I'll play into it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I think it's funny.
It's fine. It's fine because we quickly realized that was the value we brought. Like everyone else there has actual real value, money, like monetary old money as well, which is completely different than new money. I found like actually new money in America is worse respect-wise than old money in Europe. A lot of the kids were like really respectful and they knew how to act, even though, you know, their dad's worth $30 billion. But we found that if we could make these billionaires laugh and stuff, we found a little home in Gstaad.
I hope you did.
Winter is upon us, but the concerts are still hot. So it's time to see your favorite artists and go to the biggest events. That's why I got to tell you about our special hookup from today's sponsor. You guessed it, SeatGeek. Everyone can use my code Logan10 and get 10% off any tickets on SeatGeek, whether you're a new customer or not. Sports, concerts, festivals, you name it. There are many artists touring right now, including Post Malone, Charlie XCX, Kendrick, Billie Eilish. SeatGeek has got you covered for all of them. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so look for the green dots because green means good, red means bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. So no matter how many times you bought tickets using SeatGeek before, Logan10 is going to get you 10% off your next order. Take out your phone for me, open the SeatGeek app, and add code Logan10 to your account. What are you waiting for? Do it right now because this offer is only available for a limited time. Shout out to SeatGeek. Now back to the show.
No, but that home exists everywhere. That's an important lesson to learn for anybody watching this right now who is looking for some sort of like accessible value from this episode today, because we're going to be talking a lot about billionaires and private jets and Starino and a lot of this type of shit. So like if you are looking for some value, there is a way to combat alpha males and billionaires out there, and being funny and having good energy and being positive and putting that type of energy out there is always a way that you can win over a room.
So that's actually what you've done. How did you get involved in these circles of high net worth individuals coming from I mean, you're well off. You had a great childhood. Your parents are still together, like all admirable. But how do you get in these circles?
So first of all, I'll acknowledge my privilege. I grew up, as you said, privileged and adjacent to these environments. So a lot of the Gstaad world, even though I didn't go there growing up, I was exposed to growing up in London and going to similar ski towns. So I always saw how those sorts of people operated, but I was also always raised to read between the lines and see the absurdity and see how the money doesn't actually buy happiness. It can help people in many ways, but it can also destroy in many ways. So I'm blessed with that perspective. And I realized that comedy is a great lubricant for conversation. It really is. You know, it's like you can be at dinner telling us a great story monotonously, and no one wants to listen. You throw in a couple of jokes, and it's a great story, right? And Gstaad Guy is kind of that. I think when you watch my videos, you're rarely laughing out loud. It's usually like a little chuckle because comedy is my choice of language and not my choice of product. The product is a bit more like luxury journalism in a way. I'm kind of talking about luxurious experiences, products, places, and using comedy just to make it more digestible and to make it more relatable. I also now talk a lot about those manners you were talking about, and the ways of operating.
I've learned a lot about etiquette and manners from you.
Yeah.
You're such a gentleman. Like you would pour me water, you'd pull out chairs for people. Always simple stuff. But it's that European class that I, as a very American boy from Ohio, just didn't really grow up with.
No, you're very well mannered. To be honest.
Well, now partially because of you. I wanted to ask you just a simple question.
Sure.
Because you have seen it and you just mentioned it. Does money buy happiness?
I think this is probably a very common answer, but money is an incredible tool that can make the good better and the bad worse. So it depends on people's mindset. I think in a place like Gstaad in particular, you have people that have all the money in the world and they choose to live a very wholesome, modest life with their family, do very charitable things, build beautiful homes that are built clearly for them and not for status or for putting out anything. And then you have the inverse where people live very crazy lives with a lot of vice and they live this life of abundance and like gluttony. And money can make that a lot worse if you choose that path. So I think it's whatever your mindset is. You guys are a great testament to that. I've seen you when you were living in the Grove and you had very little to lead a life of excess. And now that you can lead a life of excess, you have this beautiful, wholesome life with your wife and daughter, and you've chosen a good path. So I think you're a testament to that answer.
Yeah, I personally, I would rather cry in a Lambo.
I agree with that for sure. I think money it's an amazing thing.
There's data
for sure.
There's data and studies about this, by the way. I've always been very interested, and I think we've talked about them on the show before. There's a median earnings that represents the highest saturation of happiness in the United States, and that number obviously changes by location, and it also changes by every year, right? Because of inflation, cost of goods, so on and so forth. But in Connecticut, I remember when the study came out, I think it was somewhere around like 95,000 a year. And as you move down from that, you lose the ability to cover the things that you need as an individual or as a family member, right? Healthcare, food, certain basic luxuries, television, maybe a trip every here and there. And as you move away from that median, as you move away from that average, whichever one it is, I can't remember, you are now having to dedicate more time to earn that money. And so at the end of the day, unless you're talking about some hyper affluent child who is gifted the money, there actually is a right amount of money to be making to find happiness. Because to be completely honest with you, you and I, we come across, I mean, you're pretty locked in nowadays as dad, but we're outside and we run across so many freaking people. And I'll be honest, there's a bountiful amount of unhappiness in the scene that we play in, dude.
Yeah.
Bountiful. Like all these people out there watching this are thinking to themselves, like, wow, if I was only able to accumulate X amount of dollars, man, it just doesn't seem to translate into any long form meaningful happiness, because I don't see it, and I don't know, you know.
I mean, I think that money won't necessarily buy happiness, but the lack of money will very likely buy
Amazing
sadness
way to
and
put it.
misery
Amazing.
and pain.
Yep.
Right? So I think that that's a non-negotiable. If people can't take care of the people they love and take care of themselves, then it's a whole different game.
Do you think the blanket statement, you got to get that bread up, is applicable?
For sure. I think that there's what's important from 0 to 10. No, but to be honest, what gets you from 0 to 10 and how you feel from 0 to 10, and 10 to 100 and 100 to 1,000 are very different sets of problems and considerations and emotions. When I talk about Gstaad and these absurd communities, this is like really like way beyond necessity. This is excess in every shape and form. It's people that indulge in excess, even for good or for worse. Like a bottle of water in Gstaad is like 30 francs, which is like $32.
Oh, it's the most expensive city I've been to.
Yeah.
By a landslide. There's nothing.
My whole shtick is about excess and craziness and that world. So my two characters are a push and pull between old money, new money. So I have Constance, who is tradition. He's always frowning, Constance, and he's tradition, manners, values, a lifelong of modesty, a life lived through modesty, and rarely accepting change. He has things he loves, and he wants to stick to those things. He rarely accepts new things in his life. And he's representing that archetype of that old money person you're talking about, who's always disappointed. And his cousin Colton, that I also play, he's a face that we were more exposed to more often. He's also comes from this world of high net worth life, and he's loves change, loves hype, loves modernity, loves celebrating color, loves Travis Scott, Nikes. And that's the push and pull. And they're both fictional characters, but they're ambassadors of real life people and archetypes, right? So this Constance type is addicted to excellence. And I think most people know someone who has that addiction, who buys a MacBook Pro instead of a MacBook just to check their emails, and gets a Porsche Turbo instead of a Porsche to go to the grocery store. And that's Constance. He wants the best of the best in every single category of his life. He gets the best clothes, the best watches.
But that's not exclusive to the jet set. And that's what I think is
Exactly.
applicable to all of your characters, is that aspirational greatness is a global thing that expands across all socioeconomic barriers. Like everybody wants the best of everything. I mean, you go and, dude, when I first made money selling drugs, I want to buy luxury shit. You know what I'm saying? You want to go and buy a jacket. People spend their first money they get on a Rolex or go to Louis or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure.
that part is very applicable, and that's why. And I'm curious how you do this. That's why I think you're starting to see this growth on this page, where it's starting to leak really well outside of the jet set and outside of the the upper echelon, because people are aspirational and people want to know about these places. So how do you stay true to the global elitists while also satisfying your new trickle in audience that kind of is getting kicks out of it but also likes to learn?
So the first thing I will say is, when you said kind of make fun of this life, when you're bullying up, you guys will see this at dinners where you're telling jokes. It rarely feels like you're bullying. People who are being bullied feel celebrated. So you could be like, oh, look at Mike. He's always getting the best shoes. He's like, oh, stop it. But but keep it coming. You know, he loves it, you know? And that's what bullying up is like. So when I make fun of billionaires for being billionaires, they're like, oh, you know, they want to listen in. They love it, you know? So they're feeling celebrated, and people who are not in that position feel heard, because they're like, oh, this is obviously crazy. The staff that work for these people have crazy teams of staff at their homes. they love the content because like finally someone's making fun of my boss. So there's this healthy trickle-down effect. I think that people either feel celebrated or feel heard, and it's a nice balance.
Sorry, I'm laughing over here because you were talking about bullying at dinners, and I was thinking about Gstaad when George made that joke to Brian Armstrong.
Yeah, when George absolutely roasted the CEO of Coinbase,
Founder.
What do you say?
and George had no idea who he
What do you
was.
say? You have so much money and you can't buy hair. Is that what he
He
said?
did not say that.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
he really?
And
Yes,
bro,
yes.
they'd never even spoken.
He
I'm
just
sure Brian
he
loved
picked
it,
the
no?
bald guy at the end
Yeah,
of the
no,
table.
he didn't seem.
Crazy.
Well, I don't know if he didn't really laugh at it, but like,
I think he. It was a funny joke. It was a funny joke. Everyone else laughed
never
it, so
heard
he might have been like. Yeah, but it is that kind of like you can bully up the rich people that you're making fun of or poking. You're not making. You're poking fun of the absurdity of their lifestyle, and objectively, it is absurd for 99% of the world. Their lifestyles are absurd, bro. Some of the things we saw when we were in Gstaad blew my mind.
100% absurd.
still,
It's not real life.
Yeah.
But they're not. They don't get ultra offended.
No,
But-
they don't.
okay.
I mean, every once in a while you'll get someone who gets offended, and honestly, I'm happy about that because I'm trying to raise awareness about the absurdity. Unfortunately, a lot of people watch the videos that are literally about them, and they're like, "Oh, haha, like that's so not me." It just goes right over their heads, but it's literally them. So it's. I hope people learn a thing or two in the process.
Well, this is where the conversation, in my eyes, gets interesting because I'll approach this now as like social media strategist.
Yeah.
When you first started making these videos, they would get a little bit of attention. The numbers weren't incredibly crazy. Some of them would go viral, but they spoke to the people that we're describing, these high net worth individuals. And the growth at first was slow, but potent. And you actually, I think, proved something in social media in that who your audience is can have extreme value.
Yeah.
And even though at the time your following wasn't huge, the people that were following you had a lot of fucking money. So you were a rare case where you could speak to the most wealthy individuals on the planet, even though your following was like 150,000, 200,000, and you realize you had a little hack there because for the right brand attached to you, that person would then buy what you're telling them to buy, what you're wearing, i.e. Loro Piana. Dude.
Lawrence Piano.
Lawrence Piano. A high, how would you even describe this brand? Like a quiet luxury brand? Like
Yeah,
Loro
I mean,
Piana.
I think I would describe Loro Piana as understated luxury, made for the people who wear it, not the people who see it, which is a rare thing in luxury these days.
And you've been on the LP train for a while. Like 5 years ago, you're like, yo, you got to get these shoes, right? And
No,
then
longer. I feel like longer.
like a long time. And so then you started this page, and how did the partnership with LP happen where now you're essentially like an ambassador for them? And dude, like you alone have 10x their sales because of Gstaad Guy, because of the audience you're speaking to?
Is that an
I don't know.
accurate
I
assessment?
don't
That's a big. That's a big
I think that my storytelling about Loro Piano was definitely part of the growth, but there's also some tailwinds of quiet luxury becoming a trend and me being well placed as a spokesperson for that. I think also the brand doing some incredible things, and their products are incredible. So all I did was maybe put a little flashlight towards it over the years.
10x.
10x.
It's been a cool journey with them.
It's been cool to watch.
Yeah.
Because in my eyes, I was always taught like most reach, most impressions, most people possible.
Yeah.
But you focus on the people who have money.
Yeah.
And if they're paying attention to what you're doing, you can really move the needle, and you've proven that. You have partnership with Audemars Piguet AP.
Yeah, I do. So on the topic of the smaller niche audience, I think that my strategy is maybe unique to social media, but it's typical in all other industries. Like, just think of restaurants. Not every restaurant has a McDonald's strategy. There's luxury restaurants forever. And they just want less customers who pay more versus more customers who pay less. So it's actually a pretty normal way to run business. It's just unique to social media. because social media by its very nature is supposed to be open access to everyone. And because of the language I use in my videos, there was this automatic barrier to entry. It was like a door for members club, because someone who gets it would watch and say, I understand what this is about, and they keep watching, and people who don't get it would stop watching. So I had this gate at the front of comprehension and relating to this crazy world that made my concentration of these followers huge. So yeah, like you said, I didn't have that many followers, but they happened to be big ticket followers. And my first couple of videos, I started talking about Loro Piana because it's a real life love for this character I'm portraying. The real life Gstaad guy is obsessed with Loro Piana. And I grew up with around these Gstaad guys, like my friends' dads, my own dad in many ways, a lot of people around me who were obsessed with this understated brand and the excellent materials. And the same thing for Audemars Piguet with the watches.
What'd you say just then?
Audemars Piguet. AP, Audemars Piguet. That's how you pronounce it.
How?
Audemars. Remember this video?
Audemars?
The video we did together?
Oh yeah,
Gstaad.
the watch video.
The watch video.
Audemars Piguet.
There you go.
But you speak French. That's why you're doing all that.
I do speak French. So actually, back to your point about the international school accent.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of things about this on TikTok, but the international school accent's basically kids who go to international schools and are taught in a British-based system, but they're exposed to American pop culture and they listen to Impulsive and watch Disney Channel. So they get the American twang mixed in with this British schooling plus a third language at home that they speak natively, which could be something Central Asian, Middle Eastern, Italian, French. So they get this mixed up accent that's very typical in international schools.
And that's why you sound like that.
Yes.
But what else do you speak?
Skip.
Why?
I like keeping some mystery.
He's keeping it mysterious.
I like
But
keeping
you
some
speak
mystery.
more languages.
I do speak more language.
Whoa, you're mysterious like that?
It's nice. I think the mystery of my page adds a lot of fuel to the fire.
Yeah, but you're here. You ruined it.
I'm here just speaking as myself and talking about the process. I think
this is a good segue actually, because a couple minutes ago you brought up this this analogy of having this like gate, this barrier to entry, being able to understand the content, and people who didn't get it would just turn away, right?
Yeah.
But something that happened was that party inside the gates that the people who didn't get it just turned away from got so big and so lively. And everybody that was looking inside that at first would just turn away. They were like, wait, now I kind of want to get it, right? I want to understand the hype. Why are all these people going crazy? Why are they trying to shop at Lawrence Pianos and wear Audemars Piguets? You know what I'm saying? And go to Gstaad.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you, I guess, I kind of asked this question, but I want to cycle it back and really understand it. Like, how do you not become mainstream?
Yeah.
Like, how do you continue to satisfy this portfolio that you've created, right? Like, it's like, it's
sure.
like,
I mean, I think there's a few things to this. One, I'll talk about what's on the outside.
Kidding me, bro?
no, he was probably cutting a clip for fucking Impulsive.
What was it? What are you watching? What was that? What was it, Kevin?
Was it?
Fucking sick of
Go, dude.
Gstaad Guy, bro. The disrespect.
No, that's good. He's good. So there's a few reasons for that. One, I think I read a statistic that like 90% of the world's money was made in the past 10 years. So there's a lot more people who made a lot of money and want to learn how to spend it and want to see how other people spend it. And as you know very well, people who make money recently often feel judged by those who made money a long time ago. It's like this new money versus old money. And they want to learn the ways of the old money people because they think that that's what the experienced spender lives like. True or false, who knows?
Experienced spender.
Right? That's how people think. And here comes this account, Gstaad Guy, that uncovers the secret world of high net worth people. 4 years ago, one of the greatest days of my life, I got a notification on my Instagram that Virgil Abloh followed me and started to engage with my content. I was so honored. I've always been a big fan of his. And he started commenting, the modern Robin Leach, who had this TV show, The Secret Lives of the Rich and Famous.
Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous.
Exactly.
Hey.
And he thought that Gstaad Guy was the modern take on that, and that I'm uncovering this world but also keeping this gate. So that's one of the tailwinds. Also, most of my audience is now in the US, which makes sense because the fastest growing economy. And people in the US have always been very curious about Europe and European living. And I'm uncovering a secret world like Gstaad that's rarely been uncovered, or Saint-Tropez, or all these places. So that's on the tailwind side. On my side, I love that the party's getting bigger and more people are engaging. I think that started happening when I took a slight turn to talking more about good manners, values, relationship advice from the perspective of this Gstaad guy who used to only really talk about consumerism mostly, but now it's also about a way of living, which is a deep part of this world of manners and treating people well, hopefully for a lot of people, but sometimes not. And that opened up the gates. The way I try to keep the gates a bit more closed is by adding barriers to entry through language. So you might notice in a lot of my videos, I'll start the video with Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, Constance the Gstaad Guy here. And bonjour, mesdames et messieurs is good morning, ladies and gentlemen in French. And for someone who lives in Miami but vacations in Saint-Tropez in summer in the south of France, they get that. The waitress said it to them when they were having breakfast, so they keep watching. But someone who's never heard that before thinks, oh wait, this is in a different language, I'll skip.
So you're phasing out Middle America.
I'm trying to
What are you doing for
niche.
Danny in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, bro? What are you
I hope
doing?
he can learn a thing or two.
He can't,
I'd love
okay?
to meet Danny. I'd love to meet Danny. You know? But I'm trying to keep the party contained. Even though I love the fact that it's scaled and I'm so grateful for it, I think that it's important to stick to a niche. I think a niche is the way to go.
Well, guess what? That niche has some company. You got any beef in the high value net worth space? Because there's a couple other people in the space right now. They're doing things a little bit differently.
Yeah, it's great.
Are you familiar with Super Snake?
I am. Great guy.
You guys friends?
Yeah. We're friends.
Do you guys appreciate what the other does?
Yeah, I think we're both playing different games in the same field, sort of thing. I think he talks to a different type of consumer who's a bit more party, a bit more.
He talks a little bit more to me.
Yeah.
Not you know, to be not to.
I agree with you.
And I want to ask you about this too, and kind of segue into it, because he definitely does. And you know, the memes are about the dark side of Basel, and you know, the hooly doolies, the prostitutes at F1, and this and that. And it's very, you know, focused on that darker side.
I'm always been focused on more family friendly. My hashtag on every post is "It's all family."
Yep.
I've always wanted to be more like Shrek, where you transcend ages.
Yep. How do you? One thing that has always been tricky, I think, for anyone that plays in this podcast space and in this kind of world, it's always hard for me to not tell the wildest stories from the back rooms, from you know the after parties. You know what I'm saying? That because they are the best stories. But I've always felt like as soon as you start telling them, they're going to stop happening.
Fine.
How do you draw the line as to like what is acceptable to talk about regarding the world of the elites and what is not acceptable? And I don't mean that on some like weird like Illuminati shit. I just mean like what secrets are better left unshared?
I mean, I feel like I'll never really expose people or corner people in a negative light. So I feel like even if I'm uncovering something negative, I'll try to pretend like my character is the one doing the negative thing, or one of my characters.
Self-deprecation.
And sort of self-deprecation and sort of like offsetting the attention from someone who could feel targeted, because I'm not trying to be TMZ, you know? So I try to also add the layer of fiction. I think fiction is the strongest way of telling stories, and all types of media over the past 10,000 years. It's like fiction leads books, movies, music. But for social media, for some reason, it's always been this tiny, tiny subset. And I think fiction is so powerful because you can tell a real story in a far more interesting way by adding some salt and pepper and adding some spices to your dish, right? And I think that there's this addiction to the authentic on social media. that's now being challenged because people are realizing that those who are authentic are actually often inauthentic. So they're down to swing to the opposite side of the spectrum, and they're celebrating fiction. And a great example of that is Zachirific. I think he's actually excellent.
Yeah,
I think he's so good at what he does. He
So
plays into
humble.
the fiction. He's so humble.
Yeah, the most
He owns his character. I actually think he's one of the greats online right now.
For sure. And
He's great.
so with a rock star like Zachirific,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, his accomplishments are, the list goes on and on and on. And I aspire even to be as affluent and articulate as a guy like Zachirific.
I agree.
But
and the girls.
the girls, I mean, the girls he gets, this guy's
Sweeney.
pulling the husk. Yeah, and like the list again goes on and on.
I heard he has, by the way, a few homes in Gstaad.
More than one?
More than one.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
That guy's a gangster.
So much money.
So I was gonna ask with like a character like Colton, you know, here's my interpretation of Colton. He's like a new money douchey rich kid.
Exactly.
Who has zero self-awareness about like what he looks like.
Precisely.
Okay.
100%.
So that's my like Ohio interpretation of
Colton.
what Colton is.
Yeah.
So like, would a guy like Colton beef with, you know, a rock star like Zachirific? Like two guys with money, two guys who can pull any girl they want, drive the cool cars.
In real life, yeah, those types, big ego, they feel challenged. Constance, on the other hand, the Gstaad guy in the room, he feels elevated. He feels like he's in the penthouse and they're in the lobby. So he'll stay quiet, he'll stay to the side, he'll mind his own business.
What does Constance think of Colton?
He thinks he's on his own journey.
But
his own
he
time.
loves them.
He loves him. It's
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
you know,
They're cousins, right?
they're cousins.
How did you come up with the character of Colton? Like, how did you know you were like this? You could be this funny bro douchey guy and lose the international accent.
Okay, so basically, I think I've always thought that accents carry prejudice, positive or negative, right? But when you hear an accent, you assume things because of people you're exposed to with those accents. So for example, David Attenborough of the documentaries and many others have taught us that like this eloquent British accent is like wisdom, manners, etiquette, knowledge. So when Constance says something mediocre, sounds profound, okay? And that's real. You know, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
When people are speaking like with these eloquent accents, you want to listen to what they say and you take it so well. And that's where his wisdom videos, where I sit at these desks and Constance says these profound things. I was on a boat, a very, very big boat, a very humongous boat, with a guy who owns the boat, and everyone's talking, and he starts to speak, and everyone stops and listens, you know, and he says like, hard work pays off. Everyone's like, they get so amped up because the guy owns the boat, you know? So like if any of his guests said anything that was actually profound, no one would care. And that's when I started to realize like with this delivery and of course with the boat, the boat's a big part. The boat's a big part with the boat and this whole thing. People really like will believe anything anyone says. So I was like, what if Gstaad Guy sits at a table and starts spewing random wisdom? How will people feel about it?
Yeah.
So my first video with the wisdom was, the more you spend, the more you make. Well, sorry.
The more you
spend, the more you make. And people were like, yes, I agree. I was like, you agree? This is supposed to be ironic. But I realized that you wear the Loro Piana, you wear the Nordpiguet, you're sitting at this desk and people like, they resonate. So I was like, let me make fun of wisdom.
But it is true. It's just
is
so
true.
obvious.
Wait, how? What?
How's that true? You should save.
What?
I mean,
The more you spend, the more you make. Is a common business theory. You have to spend money to make money.
yes,
So you're constantly
but not
investing.
the more. Like you should invest a bit and still be reasonable. But like,
But it's
what I was saying is
okay.
make 10, spend 12.
Got it. Yep.
Which is absurd.
Right.
You know, and people listen. You know, so basically I realized if I say absurd things in this eloquent British accent, people will resonate, you know? So Constance, À La Poubelle, fantastique, with this French and the trilingual. And then I thought, I need a push and pull.
Yeah.
I need the devil to the angel. I need the antithesis. And who is that? It's the American hype beast with all this Chrome Hearts money, you know? And it's Cousin Colton. Yeah, what is good, guys? Cousin Colton here. And he's just like a chill dude. He loves life, loves to celebrate everything.
Where's he based? He's in LA, right?
He's LA, New York, Upper East Side, Hamptons, Miami.
He's my guy.
Tax optimizing,
I see him
Bahamas,
every day.
bars. You see him every day.
I'm with
exactly.
him every day.
Exactly.
It's my favorite person. And in fact, You know what's funny? We started this episode with you guys talking about your friendship.
Yeah.
Me and you didn't start off
We
on
did
that
not start off
same
on a good note.
tone. We started off because I think when we so we met in a very different time, and
Yes.
and we met under like the brutal Reign Logan Paul, not the current like, and there was a lot of like infighting and like
Yes.
distrust and war and like,
There was that guy with the voice in the house. Hey, Logan.
bro, you're talking about one of the most famous characters in the history. Ron Burke. We're not doing this shit. We're not fucking doing this right now, all right?
Him and Mike beef.
Evan's laughing.
That's too funny.
Me and bro,
too funny.
bro. There will be books about all of this, like long books, bro. But I think more than anything, we both when we met, we both were vying for it. We can be honest about it now. We were both vying for a friendship, you know. And I think there was a lot of that kind of
What
like
does buying mean?
just like
Trying to get.
battling for friendship.
I don't
and
think so.
I think it was part of it, dude.
Really?
I don't fucking know.
I don't think so.
All right, but more so,
to be honest,
on
I think you and I just had a hard time purely because we were on slightly different vibes. I think you were very high energy. I was fairly low energy. And I think we both met somewhere in the middle years later.
Well, I wanted to say that, but I also
Yeah.
think that we represented like such differing sides of the world.
Like Constance and Colton.
100%. And that's why
I hope not, dude. I hope
yes,
I'm not.
yes.
but that's why I bring it up
not.
right. No. But to me, you were, because
Fine.
I was from, food stamps and crack and porn stars. And I met this guy who is, ski lifts. And as I say that, the ski appears on the screen.
You are in real life more like Constance.
But he's a
Colton.
blend between
You are a
the two.
blend, but you understand that upper echelon of life, and you did float in and around that world while not being like one of those people.
Yeah.
And so like certainly for everyone who knows you, at least our friends, like you are like you're a shy guy. You got money. You know how to act.
I appreciate
But
Thank you.
it was a clash, right? At first,
Yeah.
and then slowly but surely, we realized we're like, wow, dude, he's funny. And then he would come around more often. You're at the house, and I would see you traveling in and out. And then years later, you would call me and be like, hey man, like I'm thinking about leaving.
Yeah.
Do we talk?
Yeah,
about
you could say. I think this is. I think it's
Apple's fine.
fascinating because, dude, you had a whole life before your social media career took off,
did.
and a successful life. And the funniest part about you, I think, is that you're actually so conservative and take your time. You make smart, strategic decisions, very low risk.
Doesn't drink.
Doesn't drink.
Doesn't smoke.
Doesn't smoke. You're a great guy
Thank you.
who's very risk adverse, and you had a regular ass job working at Apple.
No, an awesome ass job.
An awesome job, but for sure, like a prestigious job though. You worked at Apple, right, in the international pay,
Yeah,
Apple
I was
Pay.
doing Apple Pay. Yeah, no, it was an amazing phase of my life. Like, when I started Gstaad Guy, it was just for fun. Before I get to that, actually, thank you for your kind words.
Well, I didn't even get to him. I didn't even get to him. But I think we're going in the right direction.
Get to
Go
this,
ahead.
but I appreciate it. So I worked on a startup for a while. When I had first met you, I just started working on it. It did well for a bit, and then it went bust. And then I got a desk job at Apple, working on Apple Pay growth. And Apple's a very secretive company that doesn't really love people to be exposed to the camera unless they're part of the process. So the fictional world of Gstaad Guy and the privacy of Gstaad Guy really helped with that, where I could work by day and film videos by night.
You're like Batman.
I mean, Batman's is a stretch. I'd say more like budget Hannah Montana, you know?
Yeah.
And I started filming these videos, and 2 years in, they started to pick up. And I could finally take the leap of faith once Gstaad Guy became lucrative, and I could justify quitting my job and doing this full time and living off of Gstaad Guy and the businesses I start on the back of it. So
What happened when your boss at Apple found out that you were also making these ridiculous social media videos?
he was pretty supportive.
He was?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at least that's what it seemed like to me. I think people are generally excited for people going on their own path. And Apple is is generally a very cool place to work. It changed my way of thinking about things entirely.
What was the ultimate deciding factor that led you to quit your well-paying job?
You were torn.
Yeah,
you were very
I was
it
torn
took you
for
a
long
while.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had the blessing of perspective growing up and seeing how money can do great things and how the lack of it can also do bad things. So I've experienced ups and downs, and I think that the desire for stability was such a big part of me getting employed in the first place. I wanted to have a stable life and have this job and have that consistency. And it made me very scared to take the leap of faith to become an entrepreneur and do Gstaad Guy full time. So really, I sat on the thought of quitting for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I actually briefly joined Coinbase after Apple, after we met Brian and Gstaad. And actually, so I left Apple, went to Coinbase very briefly and quit all of that 2 months in. Really because of financial confidence. I think that like hedging risk when you have a pretty good job and it means a lot to you is important, and not to like take a ridiculous leap of faith and just go do something like social media. I think you should wait until you de-risk it a bit. And I de-risked it over 2-3 years. And only once Gstaad Guy was paying me enough could I
Best
Justify
advice
it.
in the
Yeah,
entire
it's
world.
good advice. He did the same.
I call it calculated risk.
I did the
Exactly.
same as well.
Exactly. You did too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we all had like a viable plan B seemed to be like it could be plan A now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So side hustle becomes main hustle.
Yep.
Yep.
So let's run it.
And even ironically, I always even found a way to keep my main hustle and made that my side hustle after I left it.
That's great.
So I would find a way, like when I left Lovesack and joined
You consulted
Maverick,
for them, right?
I got a consulting deal with them. So for the first year I left Lovesack, I was actually getting paid by them to do remote work for them while I was doing most of the time here. And
Exactly. That's great.
So it is interesting because in a way I feel like you've faked it and then made it.
100%.
And it's so interesting because you started making fun of these people and their luxurious lifestyles, and the word is luxury, and now you're living that luxury lifestyle, and you did fake it and then you made it. And so how do you feel about the idea that you're one of the people now that you make fun of actually?
I wouldn't say I'm not one of the people. I'm not one of the people at all. There's
but you got
serious
one,
levels in between.
but that is true. But dude, like you are everywhere, all over the world, at the coolest spots, all the big events with all the supermodels. Like, you see it, you're in it. And I mean, like Zachirific, I'll be honest, I draw parallels between you guys because this guy was essentially like, faking it. He was this character. And then I see him like actually out and about, getting access, getting into clubs, getting girls. I'm like, this motherfucker manifested his way into being the cool guy, and now he is.
That's cool.
It's cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. I think above everything, I'm grateful and blessed to be in this position. I think another thing that's part of that gratitude is the perspective of seeing that there isn't really that golden light at the end of the tunnel. You guys know that in this world. Like there isn't a party that's missing that's going to change your life, or an event that's missing. It's
wait a sec. What?
I don't think he understands.
maybe he doesn't get it.
Wait.
You want him to say it
like,
in a different way?
that one party, that one moment doesn't actually exist.
No.
No.
Wait.
You
I
can't.
thought you have to do every single one.
Yeah,
Of
you
them.
can't.
You don't have
Yeah,
to.
you can't.
Wait, can I do a little exercise with you?
Please.
Can I just fire like a couple things off of you?
Sure.
Okay. When I say, I'm gonna just say a word, and you just let me know what immediately comes to mind. Starino,
Cool guy.
Chiltern,
Hotel in London.
You're just saying what they are.
Oh, come on.
What do you want me to do?
Association.
No, that's fine.
À La Poubelle are fantastique.
You can do that if you want, but
Okay.
like have.
Cave du Roi in Saint-Tropez.
Yes.
Oh man, it smells like puke. Not for me.
People are just waiting on the stairs all
Yeah.
day. Faisal.
Who's that?
Faisal.
Oh, in Saudi?
Yeah.
Great guy.
De Alpina.
Beautiful hotel.
Will Macris.
Great guy.
Jeez, I just wanted to launch some of these like these like scene things at you and just see what your response was.
No, it's fun. I think yeah,
Will Mackers ended it.
Great guy. I think the scene generally is it looks a lot more sparkly on the outside than it is on
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. There's influenza in there.
Yeah, there is.
It's breeding.
I think going to all these places and doing all these things, if you have the wrong head on your shoulders, it can go down a very dark path, and we've seen it many times. But if you can go into these places with the right mindset and energy, where it's part of work, part of an experience, and not your identity to just travel around the world going to these F1s and things. For me, really, it's work. And I'm so blessed that my work is also fun and glamorous and cool. But when I'm there, I'm really excited about going back home and being with friends and hanging out with you guys and family, you know? So,
see, I just all jokes aside, go thing to thing, right? Same way. Yeah. But I feel extremely good after I leave every event because I always have a new guest for the show. I always have a new
flu
connection. Yeah, I do get influenza. But I feel like I'm able to work the I get a ton of stuff done in the rooms. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people, to your point, a lot of people go and they do 2C, they spend money on girls.
Exactly.
Right? They stay at the Satai for, a week and a half. And then it's a fantastic.
I think you have to milk every opportunity, right? So if you're at one of these places and these good things rarely last forever, make sure you milk every second. You meet the right people. You
like milk?
Make the most out of it.
Do you like milk?
I do like milk.
Dairy milk.
I like dairy milk.
You're drinking dairy milk?
I drink dairy milk. Have you had the milk in Gstaad?
Oh my God.
Those
cows are probably so rich.
You've had it. I've had it with you. It's very good. Very good milk.
Wow.
Oh, the fondue at the Gstaad Palace.
Very good. Also very good.
Who gets more huzz, Colton or Constance?
What does huzz mean?
The huzz.
Just ignore him. He forgot he's 30. Who gets more girls?
Constance or Colton?
Yeah.
I think in practice, Colton, because the modern girl loves that toxic guy. But Constance, he's a good, valued man. Yeah. He's a family man. He's honest. I think he deserves more than Colton does. But, it's rarely the case. I like the mics get all the girls. The Coltons.
That is true.
The funny guys.
I like when you do À La Poubelle.
À La Poubelle is great.
In the trash. Can we do an exercise?
For sure.
À La Poubelle or Fantastique?
Sure.
Okay. Spending more than 5 seconds looking at the bill.
À La Poubelle.
Story highlights of different travel destinations.
À La Poubelle.
Cuffing your pants.
À La Poubelle.
Wearing ankle socks.
À La Poubelle.
Really?
Yeah.
What about when you have low-cut Loro Pianas?
No socks.
Really? No socks?
If you really have to, you can wear the ones that don't show.
No shows.
Posting photos of DJs behind the DJ booth.
I make money off it.
I'll tell you what, say it for me.
What? Oh, À La Poubelle.
À La Poubelle.
Calling a week-long trip to Mykonos a vacation.
À La Poubelle.
So it's all just...
It's all À La Poubelle. It's all À La Poubelle.
I feel like you do get a lot of inspo from what Mike's doing.
Yeah, but it's not a mic target, to be honest. Like, I
certainly seems
human
like
beings, human beings generally feel like they're a lot more unique than they are, and my page is like testament to that. Like we even Gstaad Guy, who's this like fictional character who's so absurd, no one even knows a real guy who's sitting there frowning and hating on everything, right?
Yeah.
But they still relate to what he says.
For sure.
So it's we all have a lot.
I love
that aligns.
I love my DJ friends. You've got some too. You're friends with the kind of music guys.
All a big joke. No, they're great. The kind of music guys are awesome.
They're crushing it.
They're really doing great. They actually have a very similar audience to Gstaad Guy for some reason.
There's a lot of overlap. Yeah. I mean, they're like it seems like every year it's kind of like a new ensemble or group or DJ. Like I remember it has been and still kind of is Rufus, and Rufus is doing their world tour 2025, which kicks off I think in March. And kind of music has just been insane. And now Pausa has had a huge year as well. Just crushed it. Whatever, dude.
I'm not a big party guy.
No, but you know,
not at all.
No, but you pay attention to that. You pay attention to
a bit. Yeah, I think that's fairly American.
What is?
I didn't know a couple of those names you were mentioning.
Rufus?
I know Rufus the Salt.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I don't know.
How do you have enough social energy to like talk with people when you're out and about? Because for me, like alcohol is a tool in that way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a dad now. I don't really give a fuck. But if I drink a little bit, like I'll have some pretty good conversations. But you don't drink, and you're always out and about.
Yeah, I think I've really practiced ending conversations quickly if I don't see them being fruitful. And by fruitful, I don't mean like I'm gaining something. I mean like a conversation I'll even enjoy having.
Energy.
And have the energy for it. So I try to protect my energy. If I meet someone and they're immediately showing off or like giving me this energy that I don't really align with, I'll try to just end it and move away. And if I meet someone that's great, there's always like a great person in a room. They usually happen to be a bit more quiet.
Especially in the rooms that you're in.
Yeah. And I really enjoy talking to them and learning, and it's usually a great time. Honestly, I'm blessed. I'm meeting pretty cool people when I go to these places. So I've happened to have stumbled upon this life path and job that brings me to good people.
So you know what I like to see as your friend, and just like anyone doing social media, I like to see you building your own businesses now, capitalizing. You know, like I said before, you 100x'd Loro Piana, and that was 100% your doing.
I appreciate that.
And tell me about the vicuña.
The vicuña is a beautiful animal that lives in South America that is delicately sheared once every 2 years, and it has the finest wool of any natural fiber in the entire world, which makes it extremely soft. Loro Piana have fibers that are finer than vicuña now, but they're through generations of selective breeding. They have this amazing line called the Gift of Kings.
Oh my God.
Which is selectively bred merino wool, which traditionally, as you guys know, merino is like not super rare at all. But
Why'd you say, as you guys know? Bro, I literally, like I said, I used food stamps to buy cheese.
I mean, look at you now.
I mean, I had 8 pairs of these Travises. They don't have merino wool. Is that like better than cashmere?
No, merino wool is typically not better than cashmere, but there's very few merino sheep that have
Dan Marino,
like a genetic privilege. Of
fucking
okay, we'll skip to the next one. We'll skip to the next one. But yeah, it's very. Point is, it's very impressive and amazing tech goes into a lot of these luxury businesses. So very few luxury businesses, I think, are strong enough in product to stand out. A lot of them are strong on brand, which I think is not true luxury. I think that's hype.
No, I agree. The
that
product's
part,
amazing.
That part makes sense.
Yeah.
That's an LP sweater you got on.
I'm actually, I think, head to toe right now.
So what will your outfit cost right now in totality? Please, you got to do it, bro. You're on Impulsive. The layman wants to know. Because you're so understated. But, bro, I'll speak for you. That's got to be a $7,000 to $8,000 outfit. No?
Possibly.
Come on, man.
Possibly.
My man's living the
That was an incredible answer.
Possibly.
That was an incredible answer.
But look, you've done it. Now you've taken your learnings and you're capitalizing on this audience you've built, and you've built now your own luxury brand.
I have.
Poubelle. Tell me about Poubelle. I think it's amazing.
So Poubelle came from my catchphrase À La Poubelle, which people kind of know me for now. That's actually the first spike of virality I had on the page, by saying things and phrases that Constance, the Gstaad Guy, disapproves of, and at the end saying À La Poubelle, which in French means to the trash. And it's him trying to push good manners, good values, good ways of living, most of them completely absurd, and also showed his disapproval of things with his frown and his outfits. À La Poubelle. So he says, like you've said, if he looks at the bill for more than 5 seconds, if he looks at the bill for more than 5 seconds, À La Poubelle. And because of course the absurd Constance should pay without consideration.
Yeah.
And through that, I realized that these À La Poubelle videos were creating friendships and bonds between people when they would joke about these videos. And two people would like the sport padel and love it and bond over it, or they'd love the game of backgammon and bond over it. And sometimes those things were like generic, like loving sushi, and sometimes they were super obscure and unique to the world of Gstaad Guy, like vicuña. So I realized people were bonding over these absurdities, and I thought, what if someone could wear their absurdities and wear their interests on jewelry? And the traditional charm bracelet has charms that kind of dangle, which makes them slightly less masculine. Also the sound, most guys that follow me wouldn't want something like that. So I came up with this design where the charms are directly in between the links. All the links are sterling silver. All the charms are sterling silver. and they're hand painted with enamel on the sterling silver. So even though they look playful and fun and colorful and youthful, they're very well made. And people wear the things they love now. So they wear this Riva Aquarama, which is the boats that are on Lake Como. They wear a small vicuña. They can wear.
And there's all these different
Little
options for charms to buy,
Yes,
right?
we
That
have,
represent
like,
your personality.
How many?
Exactly. We have like 80 charms on the website.
80?
Sick.
80.
Sick.
Yep.
But let's not forget, these things are pricey.
They're
Intentionally, though, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it is sterling silver and hand painted. So the price is fairly high. But a lot of my customers are actually buying lots of them now and decorating their handbags, usually Hermes Birkin bags, because the charms are really in right now. And they wear their interests and the things they love on these bag chains.
What are we talking about for one of these bad boys? Just for a charm itself.
Each charm is about $80.
Oh.
So it's not too crazy.
Okay.
But to make a bracelet, you need several charms.
Okay.
So a completed set, somewhere around $600 or $700.
Oh, okay.
People stack them. They were 3 or 4. They put them on their bags.
Yeah.
So people end up spending like $1,000-$2,000.
Yeah, that's it. That's aspirate. I love that.
It's aspirational,
I love
for
that
sure.
price point.
Yeah, that is.
You know what else is interesting too? When did you put those out?
3 months ago,
But when did you start ideating?
2 years ago.
Okay, and always kind of looked with that square connector
Yeah.
link. It's funny because really, like in the past 6 to 8 months, I think Tiffany's dropped hardware, which I don't know if you've seen this or not, but it's a very similar
No, I mean
square link. It's almost like a masculine, like a bulky masculine link. It's interesting that they copied you.
No, they didn't copy me at all. The Link jewelry's been around forever.
No. I
the
just
charm-
mean,
the
I just
charm
mean with that
design.
thick square, with the thick
Yeah.
square.
No, we just
So now they owe you as much money as LP does for raising
no one
the
knows
stock
me
by
anymore. No one knows me anymore.
20,000%.
So what
Can
now?
I have those? Some of those, please.
Of course.
Amazing.
Here you go.
Wait. You're just going to give it to him? Make him buy it.
No, I'll buy charms, but just give me something to start
You
with.
should actually talk about what happened to yours.
I feel
The
horrible.
Poubelle I gave you.
I feel horrible. Well, here's what happened. He sent me and Nina Poubelle,
Yeah.
the bracelets. I didn't realize they were like very expensive, and so we were just playing around with different use cases. Put them on the wrist, put them on Nina's bag, put them on the dog as like a little like collar. And man, the dog went out running around the woods. Dog came back. À La Poubelle. Shit was gone.
Oh my God.
Shit was gone. $2,000 bracelet gone somewhere in the woods.
That's actually a necklace. So you can combine the links to make anything as long as you want, or
Mushrooms?
as short as you want.
Do you have you got a cheeseburger?
I do have a cheeseburger.
Of course.
I do.
Any syringes for Mike? Have you thought about being more fringe, more risque like that?
I don't think anyone wants to celebrate that on their jewelry.
So
You'd be
right.
surprised, bro.
Really?
Nah, you wouldn't be surprised.
I think you should put that on. It's a necklace.
I wouldn't know how to put it on.
You just combine the links in the back.
You know what? In fact, I do know how to put this on. Yeah. I don't know how to put this on. What would I do with these two ends?
You just there's little clips. You just clip them.
Dude.
So what now? You're asking?
Yeah, what now?
Oh, yeah, I could do this.
What now actually? Because you just started this business.
Yeah.
This necklace business.
Yeah.
Well, there's half.
And you have these two characters, and you can speak to really important high net worth individuals. What do you do with that?
I continue pushing, and I think that the comedic tone of voice is going to continue to be a tone of voice, but really it's like kind of like luxury journalism. And I think that there's a lot of stories to tell about this world. The world's unfortunately becoming more and more polarized. So there's more and more curiosity about this sort of lifestyle, for better or for worse. And I want to keep telling stories, adding some humility, adding some comedy to it, and promoting businesses in the process. So,
And the 0.1% has become so demonized over the past couple of years. I think the 0.1% is the victim right now.
For sure.
To be honest, I mean, dude,
sure.
it's just I feel bad for these people, dude.
Yeah.
And that's why tonight I'll be going to Saudi Arabia to help out our fellow Saudi brothers and sisters.
That's absolutely right. Do you feel like one day you're gonna pull back the veil completely? Because like I still think there's a whole other side to you that people aren't seeing.
I mean, I'm here, right? So
No, but still.
I'm curious.
Whoa.
No,
With you.
I still think you're still very much, I think, like a little reserved, I could tell.
Well, this was all business focused. We didn't really get into his life and his girls and well, not like that.
Yeah, you're a chill guy, but I don't know. I there's way more. Oh, I said your names. Oops.
It's fine.
No, I'm the only one who didn't.
We got.
Just so you know.
I think there's still a lot more Gstaad Guy for people to see.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that trickling the story slowly is a good thing.
I agree.
You know,
I totally agree.
I think back to Apple. I think Apple are the best storytellers in the world because they tell their own stories so carefully.
Him, Apple, and like Cody Rhodes,
Oh yeah.
I don't know who Cody Rhodes is.
a WWE superstar.
Okay, fine.
He thought Lana Rhodes when you said that.
I did.
No, she's a good storyteller too.
Okay, there you go. So I like that slow trickle effect. Yeah, it's fun.
Man, if we had really done this like deep dive show, the three of us like 3 years ago, it would have been such a dramatically different show.
What do you mean?
It just would have been we would have talked about girls the entire time.
Really?
Yeah. I think.
Do you want to do that?
No, I don't think there's much to say.
No, there's not now.
I don't.
Well, now there's not. That's what I'm trying to say. Now I'm gonna,
Yeah, we're all
wifed
locked
up.
down,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
Wait, what?
I have a child.
I'm single right now.
How's that?
It's interesting. It's cool. Like I'm traveling to all these places, so I'm meeting a lot of great people. But because I'm traveling to all these places, I rarely get the chance to spend a lot of time with someone. So
I think you're the ideal guy. I think you're a nice guy. I
No,
think
no,
you see
that's
both
you.
sides of the coin. No, bro. You're a catch. You're an absolute catch.
100%.
I bet you're out there breaking hearts right now.
no, please, enough gas up.
No.
One final absurd story.
Hop.
Just to put Gstaad together for you. During COVID, there was a 2-week minimum stay at hotels in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Okay. And students of Loro, that absurd boarding school in Gstaad, the winter campus in Gstaad, really wanted to have a slice of pizza, but restaurants were closed. And they love the lobby of one of these beautiful hotels in Gstaad called the Alpina. So these students who come from very wealthy families, have unlimited budgets to spend, just so they could have pizza or the dinner they wanted in Gstaad, would get a room at the hotel for 14 nights. The room rate is like 2,000 plus per night. Never go into the room, eat in the lobby and go home. These are like 14, 15-year-olds. So that's the level of absurdity that is inspiring my content in a place
It's an expensive
like Gstaad.
slice of pizza.
Very expensive slice
Yo,
of pizza.
that's fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's really ridiculous.
Well, what are they gonna do instead? Eat Wally's?
The burger you hated.
Ah, man.
Man, poor Wally's.
That
yo.
sucks because they have so much potential, Wally's.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, but they crush it. They crush it.
Yeah, but
Wally's crushes.
yeah, but the product is trash.
so
It's their
bad.
burgers
It's so bad.
whack, and it sucks because they got that cute little shack and it's right in the center. I think they should focus on QC a little bit more.
Yeah?
Quality control. Yeah,
But the one restaurant down the street across from
The Olden.
the Olden.
Very good restaurant.
And that's where everybody go. I always see it tagged when I see people go
Going to Gstaad. So a lot of people around you going to Gstaad now?
A few.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, bro, you know where I'm at.
Real life Gstaad guy.
Dude, come on. No, Colton.
Real life Colton.
Give me some schnitzel at the Olden.
It's great.
It's
didn't we?
amazing.
We went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we also almost get in a fight? Wasn't there like a fight or something happening at one point?
No,
Bro,
I think so.
you almost get in a fight in every international place you go. You're a terrible traveler.
He's a great traveler. We've been to some cool places. We went camping in Yosemite with you.
We've been so many great places.
Camping in Yosemite.
Camping.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
you had no trouble out in Yosemite.
I love Yosemite.
There's no people.
No, yeah. As long as there's nobody there, bro, and there's a couple trees, I'm good.
Oh, wait a second.
You guys should do a Central Asia tour, by the way.
What? We got kicked out of Yosemite. That's when we realized you couldn't hike.
Did
What?
you just say is
Central Asia?
no? You just said as long as I'm out there, there's no people and a couple trees, I'm good.
Bro, I think you're
And then-
reaching.
and-
I think you're totally reaching.
And then you said we should go on a tour of Asia.
So I
at
said
the same
Central
time.
Asia. Central Asia. I recently went to Uzbekistan. Incredible place.
I saw that. You skipped Art Basel.
I did.
Did you enjoy Uzbekistan?
You need to go there, dude. It's incredible. I've been to some really beautiful places.
Can you just go? Can you go to Uzbekistan?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the one you can't go to?
North Korea.
No, there's another
You
one.
can go there. It's very hard to. You can go through Beijing and get a special
Like,
visa.
can go there. but
Really?
We're not going to do it. But I mean, there's another one. I think it's called Turkmenistan.
I don't know much about that.
There's one you can't go.
That's very separate to Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan's amazing place. I went to Mongolia, beautiful place.
Whoa.
Did you get the beef?
Genghis Khan?
I had the beef for breakfast. It's very good.
Beef for breakfast.
The airport's called Genghis Khan Airport in Ulaanbaatar.
What's your favorite place besides Gstaad?
That I've been to recently?
Yeah.
I really loved Doha, Qatar.
Come on.
Beautiful place.
Amazing.
Amazing place.
Super
I was really
clean.
impressed.
Every restaurant, everything you can imagine.
I mean, it also just feels like one big museum. Like the buildings are like works of art.
Where's second place?
I really loved Uzbekistan. Incredible place.
Whoa.
Really, there's a city there called Samarkand, which is this like
Say it again.
Samarkand. The capital is Tashkent.
Just for the third time.
Samarkand.
Okay.
And there's another one called Bukhara.
We might get demonetized
Honestly,
for that first city.
honestly, just Google them. These cities are beautiful, incredible places.
Samarkand.
I went to Mongolia, amazing place. Went to the Mongolian outskirts, exceptional places. Honestly, I feel really grateful to see these incredible places because of my job. Otherwise, I wouldn't.
It's incredible.
You have a pretty good job and a pretty good life. I'm proud.
And a pretty good
I'm proud of
smile
you
and
guys.
face.
Yeah, you're just overall. That's what I'm saying. You're the ideal man.
I'm not,
You
but I
totally
really
are.
appreciate the love.
You
You guys
totally
are the
are.
ideal man.
No way.
Well, I'm
Look at you, dude. You have a beautiful wife and kids. You're doing all these amazing things. Mike, you have a beautiful girlfriend. You have this beautiful home. You guys have. I mean, I've honestly, I'm so lucky to have watched you guys go from not this life at all. So you guys are blessed.
I appreciate
Yeah, you make a
that.
good point.
Thank you,
Yeah,
bro.
thank you.
Oh, no, that's
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we
That's for
appreciate
sure.
you.
Thank you.
Dude, congrats on everything. I'm so proud of you as a
guys.
friend, and it's been so fun to watch you grow.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see you keep innovating and keep speaking to the 1%, the 0.0001% of
And
the
aspiring
population.
99.9.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Including me.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Gstaad Guy. Thank you for listening to this episode of Impulsive. If you are in that 1%, you're watching this episode, don't forget, drink Prime and eat Lunchly if you're hungry.
I love
It's
Lunchly.
fantastic. And buy Poubelle if you can afford it. Hit that subscribe button, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.